Hello and welcome to the Doncaster preview for Wednesday, the 25th of January. First race of 12 kicks off at 6:09 tonight. It's an A2 grade event, and I think the interesting runner here is True Mount Lady on the inside. She's looking for a hat-trick of wins for Jimmy Gaskin. She's steadily coming up through the grades. She did actually win an A2 last time out, and I don't think this is a tougher race by any means. She looked like a staying type over the 450, but I think this 483 meter trip is the making of her. She sees out every yard of the distance, and True Mount Lady's got a good pitch up on the inside. Sharpish Trinity, the next door neighbour, is a one pacer that will stay kind of in lane two really. Travella Storm might edge off a little bit from three. Travella Star probably slightly the better of the pair of Sean Parker's runners, but has got to get round the kennel mate. I thought Footfield George was a nice dog when he first came to Doncaster, but he doesn't really want to be stuck out in five, and I think he's just gone off the boil a little bit. He's got a fair bit of pace to clear here, and as I said, he will edge in. I mean, this gives Dingy's Ronaldo a really good pitch up on the outside, more of a stay-in type. Dropped in grade as well, but the last two efforts have been really poor for Dingy's Ronaldo, and I think there might just be a little bit of a cloud over John Sharp's kennel a little bit at the moment as well. So I just thought it was a straightforward bet. Track one to continue the improvement. True Mount Lady, 7-4, and I made this one slightly shorter, so it's not a massive bet, but I think it will get us off to a good start. Track one in the first race. On to race two, and it was a kind of a lopsided race, really. Sharpish Wilbur really is a dog that maybe, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, you'd say was a good thing for this race. Beat a couple of won a couple of races recently. Romantic Coil beat that as a good yardstick, really. Slightly up in grade after that and ran all right next time out. But the last two, as I say, were pretty poor. He ran in behind Magical Katie, and he showed a little bit of pace at the corner. He just he dabbed the brakes really, and it did the same thing at the third bend. And I just can't really recommend a bet. I make him 7-4 maybe on the fact that of his old form more than anything else. If I didn't see those last two lines of form, I probably would have made him odds on, and that's how weak a race this is for him, because he is dropped in grade here. Brennan's Mottram is also going to give him a good run to the turn 5, moving into lane sort of 3.5, 4. Guitar Bob could be the fly in the ointment in that Guitar Bob's got good early pace for a 3 grade, but he doesn't really stay. But that's going to be the negative for Sharpish Wilbur, in that he's going to be in his eye line, and I think that's what's happened to him on the last two efforts. He just doesn't seem to be firing on all cylinders. The other dog that's got a little bit of quality in this lineup is Moneygall Liam, but I don't really know how he wins. I think he's basically a front runner that probably won't even lead. So Haythorne Nelly up against it maybe. Sharpish Rugrat probably not quite the grade. So it was a tough race to assess, and in the end, I came to the conclusion that I wasn't going to have a bet in this race. On to race 3, a 5-dog race. Actually, I should get this new little feature that I've been putting up. I got a little bit of a slow away there. Yeah, so let's have a look at then the runners for race 3. It's a 5-dog race, as you can see. Trap 6 is vacant. I think True Mount Fury is another one, an unexposed greyhound youngster for Jimmy Gaskin. Knows how to train a greyhound, and probably from this draw will move off from 2, but showed enough kind of promise in B4 company over the 450 meter trip to suggest that this sort of step up again would suit True Mount Fury. Burnfoot Roxy been running well without winning. She is one of those sort of nearly greyhounds, but she has got a drop in grade herself after running really well behind Magical Katie last time out. Sharpish Pluto has been off since August and getting on, nearly 6 years of age now, so he's more of a watching brief. I thought Penny's Endeavour was one for taking on, a missed break greyhound that I think was about 2-1 on the early, so I wanted to take that one on really. Bancher JD is a greyhound that just runs his race really, and probably up to this sort of moderate A2. But all things being equal, I think that True Mount Fury should, if getting a run, go very, very close here and could make a mess of these in actual fact. But again, at 6 to 5 and 11 to 10, I would rather watch them than actually play. Right, the next race is the fourth race, which is an A4 grade event. Again, 6 is vacant here. I thought the runners were probably going to be Molly's Mill and Rolo Lotto. I made them at the top of the market. Molly's Mill was turned out to be around about a 4 to 1 chance. So I just wanted to have a small bet on Molly's Mill. It was had every chance last time out. Again, she's quite exposed. Rycroft Apollo could easily lead, but Molly's Mills, quality-wise, in this sort of A4 company, should be really up to winning this. Very fourth, Eiley shows flashes of ability. I thought Move Over Kim, again at 2 to 1, 15 to 8 was one for taking on because she couldn't even clear Molly's Mill last time out. As I say, I don't see why Molly's Mill is double the price of Move Over Kim. Rolo Lasso is probably the danger. Ran all right, actually, at Oxford in an open race the other day. Got beat over 14 lengths, but still showed a bit of pace, to be fair. The second to Guitar Bob prior to that is a decent line of form. So I might even save mistake on Rolo Lotto if that one drifts out to over 2 to 1. It was a little bit short than that on the early. So they're the two runners, really. Molly's Mill and Rolo Lotto in race 4. On to race 5 then. Let's have a look at the runners here. Just scrolling through. Nola's Row was going to be a good bet for me here. Again, really struggled to get on at the price. I think opened up 2 to 1, even 5 to 2 was a big price, but that obviously didn't last long, and is now sort of an even money 5 to 4 chance. Now, Nola's Row doesn't really want to be in trap 1 necessarily, but Anarchy is a staying type of dog, not always the best of breakers in 2, and probably give him plenty of room. I think he will edge off from the red box, Nola's Row, but he's got enough early to clear these. He went to the bend with Brennan's Danny and in the end sort of bounced around on the inside of that rival. Pinocchio Jim is up in grade here. Not always the best of breakers. Probably a front runner that can't lead this race. Midas Rosie, she's a bit of a one pacer and a paddly on the bends. And Lightfoot Cavani actually finished in front of Nola's Row last time out, but that was because it was a messy race on the inside and Lightfoot Cavani just minded his business on the outside and won the race by default more than anything else. So Nola's Row, a confident selection, went to 5 to 4, which is about the price I make him. But I put him up as a small bet because I did get a little bit bigger than that, and I didn't want to put people away by not saying anything in this race and put him up as a bet. On to the 6th race. I thought this was tough enough. It's the 736 and a B4 grade event, wide open contest, really. Loghill Buster's got a decent pitch up on the inside, but he's a bit of a one pacer, hasn't got too many gears. Pinch of Snow's got a little bit of early, but and probably on the improve, to be fair, but she's up in grade. Runtel Johnny, he doesn't seem to be quite driving the bends at the moment. It's a decent breaker. And Midtown Marlow was the one that I was interested in here because I did put this one up last time. It was quite a confident bet because he was a big price, and I made him around about a 9 to 4 favourite, as I recall, when he went off 9 to 4. I think we were betting him about 5 to 1, 11 to 2. But he's been off 21 days, and Kathy Lister has obviously probably picked up a problem with him. So I just thought that if those problems have been corrected, he's in the grade where he should be able to win a race of this nature. I kind of wanted to take on Penny Sicilian 5 because they were drawn actually when I tipped him 21 days ago, and more of a slow breaker that just kind of plods on, really, playing Sicilian, and keeps being a shortish sort of price. Moss Rosie has got a deal of early pace, but again, that's another one that's been off a month. So you're kind of taking it on trust that everything's all right with Kenny Everett's charge. I just, at the prices, I think it was 15 to 2, 13 to 2, something like that, Midtown Milo, I had to have a little play because I made Midtown Milo more of a 7 to 2 co-favourite. So it was just a small play at the price and hoping that Kathy's got Midtown Milo 100% after that little bit of a layoff. On to the 7th race. This one is a B6, and it's really it's a poor kind of race, really, because Moving Stream in 1 and Pyman's Master in 5, Eden Lane in 6 have actually been running in B7s and getting beat. And you just scratch your head and think, yeah, maybe there's a bit of an issue with numbers on the kennel strength. but this is a cobbled together race, and it really gives a great opportunity for Eden Bolt at the prices. I think it was 3 to 130 on the earlies, which I did get a little bit off, to be fair. I think this is probably because of the price, about the best bet on the card. Eden Bolt's generally a really good breaker. Do It Quietly is a slow starter that will edge in, a bit of a chasey type. You wouldn't want it turning second to you because it could be a bit of race on and you wouldn't know what Do It Quietly was going to do. But edging in, which is the negative, I think Runtail Sully might even edge off a little bit, so that there could be a clash. I thought 2 and 3 were drawn wrong. So really, if you base your bets on what you see, Eden Bolt should trap smartly, lead and win. So still at 2 to 1, I thought this was a fairly decent bet, Eden Bolt in race 7. Let's have a look at the next race then. This is race 8, and yeah, I was torn really here because I didn't know whether to bet Mousy Mac or not. I tipped this one up last time out. I was a bit disappointed. I'm not even convinced whether he'll clear Sharpest Thunder or edge off probably into lane 3 from 2. Mulcair Dawn's got a good pitch really, but it's up in grade, and I wasn't sure whether it was quite good enough. Leatham's Mario, he banged out last time out. He's up in grade. Ross Temple Burt's hit and miss, but could lead these. Miss Kane's been off 2 months. She's got a bit of early, but again, you know that you've got to take it on trust that she's race fit to do her job. So all in all, tough enough. And I didn't have a bet in race 8. Race 9 is the first of the sprints, and I quite like Rathme and Blake here. And again, it kind of mixes it between traps 2 and 3, and I think he's a much better dog out of 3. Just seems to break better out the middle. He's got probably around about the best early in the race. Maybe Ballymac Puddles could go to the bend with him, but that one's hit and miss at the start. I thought Ballycassidy was totally up against it after the uplift in grade. Dido Bell seems to be a misbreaker that doesn't really get into top gear until it's all too late. Kilgraney Mystic can trap from 5, but I thought had it all to do if they broke level to clear Rathme and Blake. Ballymac Brook as well ran all right last time out in a slightly weaker race than this, but again another one that's had a little bit of a spell off the card. So I thought that Rathme and Blake with a break could lead and win. And I'm going to say mistake on Ballymac Puddles really on the price more than anything else, because Ballymac Puddles is, as I say, is just a hit and miss breaker, but capable on his day. Let's then have a look at the next race. Again, a sprint. I kind of tempted into Wildcats Kitty again, only on the price. Kurt's Rush is a greyhound that's got a good deal of early pace in this sort of company, but really is a bit of a monkey, and I'm not too sure whether she really wants to win or not. She's come second on a couple of occasions recently, and she looks a bit of a chasey type herself. Wildcats Kitty is the same, but one of them's 3 to 1, and the other one's around about 7 to 1. So yeah, Wildcats Kitty may be each way a small play. Mohawk Rosie, a trapper with not a lot of pace, and she'll just run on late again. Ridgetail Tiny's up in class. Broadland Bonnie seems to be struggling. And Bungie is always a dog that I think, you know, around about the 15 to 8 mark I want to take on. I don't think he's got anything in hand of 1, 2 or 3 really. So just a small play there, Wildcats Kitty. I'm a bit mindful of Kurt's Rush. But I thought the each way play was the best, even if you just want to play the straight place on Wildcats Kitty, who's been missing the break, but she could go forward with any kind of start. She's no worse than any of these, and at 7 to 1, it's just a no-brainer bet for me. Just a small stakes. 9-12, a D4 grade event. Thought this was kind of lopsided, really. There's some of these that really can't win. Clonlas Blue Lee, I don't think could win. Ballygird June, she doesn't seem to be firing either. I'm never a great fan of Called Charlie Annie, although she's a trapper more than anything else. Conan Dream, on the other hand, in trap 3, he's a misbreak with a bit of pace, but you know, then he needs a lot of luck when he finally drives into the turn. Roshin's Lily is a bit of a chasey type. She's got no early pace to speak of, but she just seems to take off the last. But at 6 to 4 and 11 to 8, I'll always take her on, and I've got to take her on with Drumcrow Yank here. This dog, he gets backed, and I think he goes too short. He's 3 to 1. He stayed at 3 to 1 for Gary Vincent. He's not always the most consistent of breakers, but he's probably got about the best early in this race. And he's one of those that when he's on his own at the turn, he'll drive the bend. When he has traffic on his inside, he's not quite as good. But I can just see him, if he gets any kind of start here, getting clear into the turn, cutting across. Then I don't think they'll catch him. Maybe the only one you're looking for is Roisin's Lilia. But as I said, at the short price, I'm willing to take her on. So just a small bet on Drum Crow Yank in the 9-12. On to the last. I thought this was a really tough race. Cedrina, I didn't really fancy particularly. Cleese Domino caught me out a little bit because I backed Do It Blackmore last time out, and I was really surprised that Cleese Domino bounced back to form. Would have some kind of chance. Coltown Lola, again, another one that's hit and miss. Eden Regal likewise, and Moss Blue Boy. So I couldn't really get a handle on the race. I thought it was a real tough race. And in the end, I came to no conclusion in that race. Let me see if I can get the list of bets up then. And there you go. So True Mount Lady in the first race. Again, not a fantastic price. Just made that one slightly shorter than 7-4, but I'm quite confident because I think it's an improver. And of course, you always want to be on him improving unexposed dogs. Molly's Mill is a converse bet, really, in that I'm betting this one on an old form rather than anything else. But at 4-1, it lured me in for a small play. Nola's Row was going to be a real confident bet for me. But again, at the price, I kind of missed it. So I've just had to put up a smaller bet around about the 5-4 mark. Midtown Milo is really, again, price related at 15-2. Was well overpriced. I'd even bet this one as low as 9-2, 5-1. Eden Bolt was probably one of the best kind of value bets on the card. I thought at 2-1. I bet this one at 3-1 on the earlies. So that's a fairly confident selection. Eden Bolt to just trap smartly, lead and win. Rathme and Blake, quite like this. Greyhound's got decent early, and Ballymac Puddles as well. Could never discount Ballymac Puddles on the ability factor. A small each way play on Wildcats Kitty, again, just a minimum stakes. And Drum Crow Yank, I thought at 3-1. I made him around about a 15-8, 2-1 favourite. So that was the bet in the last. So be lucky. We'll see you soon and enjoy the racing this evening from the pride of Yorkshire. Is Doncaster, of course.